All right. Peace and wellness, family. I hope that y'all are well and happy and whole and all that good stuff. If you are new here, I am the Queen Poe, and we are live, baby. Okay, shout out to the wellness community. Much love to y'all. Butterflies in the sky. I see you, darlings. Hey, you are. Hey, you are. Okay, family. So I want to set the intention before we get started and get into the things, right? So last week I did an open Q&A, which is something that I usually do with the wellness community. We have like family meetings, and I will just, give the community space to ask any question that they have about spirituality or holistic wellness as a whole, right? But last week I did it open to the public, right? And I went live on YouTube and gave you all the opportunity to ask any questions you may have. Y'all was able to put them in the chat and all that good stuff, right? But first off, we was on live for 2 hours, but I quickly realized when I went back to timestamp the video, I quickly realized that, honey, I didn't even get halfway through the chat. I didn't even make it halfway through all the questions, okay? And that's after 2 hours, which is very usual, very typical for the wellness community, honey, because one thing about us, we be chatting. So our usual open Q&A family meetings are about 4 to sometimes 6 hours, okay? I was only live for 2 hours, so I'm not surprised, but I was like, oh, Lord. So I said I was going to come back to answer some more questions. So that is the intention for this live. The intention for this live is to have another open Q&A where you can ask anything you want about spirituality, holistic wellness, and all of that. But this one is going to be a little different because I am going to have some members of the wellness community join live to ask their questions. So in our Patreon chat of the wellness community, I shared a link for them to be able to join the stream. And if they have a question, they can come on and join the stream and ask their question. So I'll be prioritizing their questions. And if nobody comes along, I'll move to the chat and answer some questions in the chat, right? But I do want to say, wellness community, this is a little different from my family meetings, okay? I gotta say, this is live, public, on YouTube. So anybody in the world will be able to see what you ask. So don't tell no business that you don't want to be told live publicly in front of the world, okay? But you can feel free to come and ask any question that you have. Again, centered around spirituality, holistic wellness, anything like that. If you are in the wellness community, if you check the homepage of the Patreon, that post on the homepage, it has the link to join the stream so you can ask your questions. Before I start bringing people up to ask their question, I want to say this. Yesterday, I posted a video, which is a 2-year-old conversation. I didn't even realize it has been that long. It is a 2-year-old conversation between myself and my sister, Queen Empress Kwamine, as well as her mom, Queen Jamisa, where we are talking about growing up in the nation of gods and earths, also known as the 5%ers. I realized that a lot of people, of course, that is not a normal experience for most people. I'm always telling the wellness community how growing up in an Afro-centered household, an Afro-centered family, you quickly realize it is not a normal experience for most people. So I wanted to share that conversation live with the public because, again, I know that it's something that people are curious about, but there's not a lot of information about the 5% nation, also known as the nation of gods and earths. So in the video, we talk about what is the nation of gods and earths, some of the beliefs, some of the practices, how some lessons and degrees have evolved or implementations of degrees have evolved over time and all of that stuff. So go watch that video for more information about the nation of gods and earths, also known as the 5%ers, okay? For those of you who are like, I don't think I've ever heard of them. Even if you've never heard of them, you heard of their philosophies and you've seen their practice. If you are a fan of the Wu-Tang Clan, they are all 5%ers, right? They were all 5%ers. If you know Erykah Badu and you listening to On and On, when she said I was born underwater with $3 and 6 dimes, you may laugh because you did not do your math. She was referring to supreme mathematics, which comes from the 5%ers. If you ever heard of the 85% are deaf, dumb, and blind, 10% are the slave master leaders and the 5% are the poor righteous teachers, right? The 85-10-5 breakdown, that is coming from the 5%, is the nation of gods and earth. So even if you don't know the nation, you are familiar with a lot of teachings and people who have expressed the lessons from the nation. So again, go watch that video for more details and more information on that. Again, it's a 2-year-old conversation. I didn't even realize that it was that long ago, but it's, of course, it's still valuable and it's still pertinent. And I did one with somebody else about the Nation of Islam. I'm considering releasing that one, but Oneness Community, y'all know I might have to go back and edit some parts. Y'all know I might have to go back and do some editing. Okay, for the Nation of Islam one, before I can release that one to the public fully. Okay, because I think that one was about 2 years ago. I got to edit some things, I have to crop some things out before I can put that one out there. But we'll see. I'll pray on it. Okay. But anyway, family, let's just get straight into this Q&A. Again, Wellness Community, the link to join the stream is on the homepage of the Patreon. We already have quite a few people backstage. Let's get into it. All right, first up, we have Michelle. Hey, Michelle.
Hey,
Peace. Peace. How are you?
I'm good.
Ashe. Question?
Yes. So my question is, do you have any information or forwarding information in regards to one's being born with 12 fingers on a spiritual level?
Being born with extra digits, right? A 6 finger on one hand or both hands, an extra toe on one foot or both feet is a great spiritual symbol, right? And the information that I was always taught growing up, I could really go deep into that because there's so many things about the body that will tell you who you are spiritually, right? Number one, we all know like the birthmarks and the beauty marks are symbolisms of past lives, right? So birthmarks are seen to be as symbolisms of past life experiences that you may have, especially your placement of your birthmark. I think that a lot of people are aware that when you have a certain marks, beauty marks, certain moles, certain freckles, certain places, it's a symbolism of your spiritual gift, right? Like I know I have a beauty mark, a big one in my eye that I've had since I was a child. And one of my spiritual gifts is I am a seer, right? So that tells a lot. When someone has an extra finger, an extra toe, it's usually a sign of two things. Number one, the extra fingers are seen as master manifestors. Those are people who can multiply things and create and manifest abundance with ease, right? So that's the extra finger. The extra toe is usually somebody who is a conjure person, somebody who has a clear path and gateway to spirit realm. So somebody who can call down spirit very, very easily, right? A conjure person. It is believed that one of the best conjurers and best root workers known back in the day, Dr. Buzzard, had a 6th toe, right? So that is some of the spiritualism behind some of the markings that we have on our body. I heavily advise, I'm always talking about this book. Matter of fact, let me lean over and get it because y'all know I keep it within arm's reach. I'm always talking about this book. Hold on, there we go. African Holistic Health by Dr. Layela Africa. African Holistic Health by Dr. Layela Africa. This book, he does face mapping, he does feet mapping, where he talks about essentially how you can be able to read somebody's life through the hands, the face, and the feet, right? How you can tell what ailments, also what gifts you may have based on your hands, face, and feet, right? So get that book. It's definitely worth it. But that's just a little background on how our bodies can tell the story, right? And things that we can be born with. Also, if you have a mole or a marking in the exact same spot that one of your ancestors had it, it's a chance that you are a reincarnation of that ancestor, right? So you may want to look at old photos and old pictures of like your great grandparents or your grandparents who may have transitioned before you were born. And you may realize that, oh my God, I have that same mark, or I have that same freckle, that same spot, or sometimes even that same birthmark. And it is a sign that you can be a reincarnation of that person.
Okay. Can you remember the author of that book again?
Dr.
African
Layela
Holistic.
Africa. Dr. Layela Africa. I actually put a couple of photos in the Patreon on the homepage. So if you go to the homepage and you just type African Holistic Health, that post should pop up. And in that post, I actually put a couple of the photos of his face mapping and feet mapping and hand mapping. And I put the link to purchase the book. It's very cheap. Like you could get it for like $20 or less, maybe.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Much love, Sister Queen. Great question. Great question. Okay, and next up, y'all, we have Lady B. Hey, I'm sorry, Joy. One second, Jay. Okay, first up, Lady B. There we go. Peace
Hey,
and wellness,
Queen.
Sister Queen.
Hey, Queen. Hey, family. My question is, what advice would you give a person that is spiritually stagnant?
That's a good one. A person who is spiritually stagnant. I have a question about feeling stagnant, right? Why are you saying you are stagnant? What is making you identify yourself as being spiritually stagnant?
Um, like maybe the manifestations are taking longer to come through, or it's taking you need extra steps to work on getting towards your goal.
Come on now.
Um,
You was gonna say something now?
no.
Okay, this is my lane. This is my lane. Y'all know I identify as a master manifestor. One of my specialties is, as my mama used to say, scratch it on your ass and make it come fast. Okay, my y'all know old school hoodoo root working superstition or belief is that when your hand was itching, it meant money was coming. If your hand was itching, and she used to be like, "Oh, my hand itching, scratch it on your ass and make it come fast." Okay, now one thing about it is when you feel stuck and stagnant, and your sign that you are stuck and stagnant is that your manifestations are moving slow. There's multiple things that you can do to expedite or speed up your manifestations. First off, I would recommend a road opener. Right? A road opener, because sometimes what can be stopping your manifestations or blocking your manifestations are blockages on your path, right? Now, here's the thing about a road opener. It's very common for people to talk about road openers. Very common. But what you have to understand with a road opener is also a cleansing and purification process as well, right? It's a root, it's a spell, it's a manifestation of clearing your path and removing any blockages. When people do road openers, a lot of people are not realizing what they're asking for. Yes, you're asking for the roads to be open, but you're also asking for your path to be made clear and any blockages you may have to be removed. What that removal will look like may surprise you sometimes, so sometimes when you do a road opener, yes, your manifestations will start coming quickly, but also you may have to release some things, and some opportunities that you thought were good for you may disappear. Some people you thought were good for you but are really not may disappear, because in actuality those things were blocking your manifestations from coming. I'm a true believer that we can't get the next thing as long as we're holding on to the current thing, right? And I tell a lot of sisters this when it comes to like manifesting a partner. I always tell sisters, like, listen, you want to manifest a partner, I understand, but you can't manifest your king when you have a peasant sitting in the throne. You got to get them dusty ass niggas up out the throne if you want your king to be able to sit down. You got to open the road and open the path for your divine alignment, your divine complement to come and be with you, right? So that's something to keep in mind. And everything in life is like that. You want to manifest a new job or a new career, you got to sometimes be willing to walk away and release that old thing to manifest that new thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what a road opener can look like, right? It can look like that current job being forced to move out of it. It can look like a partner, somebody in your life that's no longer in alignment with you disappearing. So the key to a road opener is you want to make sure that you either go to the crossroads or you can do the road opener in your house. A road opener can be a bath, it can be a candle working, it can be a foot wash, right? I love all three. I'm going to tell you the foot wash and the candle working with the offerings works wonders for me and happens very quickly, okay? Again, you can also go to the crossroads. For me, if I'm doing the candle working road opener, I like to leave the items and the offerings left over after the candle goes out at the crossroads, okay? And for those of you who don't know what a crossroads are any two roads that cross, literally. So you can go to like an intersection anywhere, or for me, I prefer to go to a crossing railroad track, right? Railroad tracks that intertwine, that crossing point of railroad tracks, I like to go there, okay? So that's a crossroad. And you in the wellness community, Lady B. So I have multiple road openers in the wellness community. In the search bar, you could just type road opener, but that's one way to expedite those manifestations. You got to open those roads, right? Another way is when you are practicing your manifestations, adding herbs that are catalyst herbs, herbs that speed up the manifestation. My favorites are mustard seed. I love adding some mustard seed because mustard seed will speed up that manifestation very, very quickly. So whenever you're doing your working, make sure you add some mustard seed. Also, some cayenne pepper or any type of chili. Black pepper is good. Cayenne pepper is good. A Scotch bonnet pepper. I know you got some, girl. Okay. A good Scotch bonnet pepper. Even pimento. Pimento peppers are good too, right? So any type of pepper is good to kind of speed it up. Another herb that's really good for speeding up manifestations that a lot of people don't realize is any kind of mint as well. Any type of mint is good for speeding up that manifestation. But like I said, for me, my favorite is the mustard seed or a little bit of cayenne pepper. Those are my favorites to speed it up. And you can add that after you add all of your other herbs, you sprinkle that on top, the mustard seed or the cayenne pepper to speed it up. And you set your intention that that's what this is being added for. And the third thing to do to speed up the manifestation, 7 spiritual laws of success, the law of detachment. You have to let it go. You have to release control. Detach from how it's supposed to show up, when it's supposed to show up. You have to just release it to the universe and know for sure that it's already yours, right? So you're not tracking it. I tell folks, when we manifest it, you can't track it like you track that package. It's not your UPS package. It ain't your Amazon package. It ain't the Fashion Nova coming in the mail. Okay, shout out to Fashion Nova. Okay, it ain't your Fashion Nova coming in the mail. You're not tracking that package. You just put the energy out there and trust that the universe is conspiring in your favor. And what conspiring in your favor looks like will differ, because sometimes conspiring in your favor, and we have to understand what manifestation is. Manifestation is you attracting everything that is in alignment with who you are, with the vibration that you are at. Sometimes the things that we want are at a higher vibration than what we are at, right? So really what the universe may look like when it's conspiring in your favor is you being elevated to meet your desire. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes that's what it looks like. It looks like you being elevated to meet your desire, to be in alignment with the vibration of your desire. So with the law of detachment, it's about releasing control of when it's supposed to come, how it's supposed to look when it comes. You're not waiting and trying to track it. It's about trusting that the universe is conspiring in your favor and embracing the opportunities to grow, to elevate and align with your desires. But also, the law of detachment, the benefit of it is sometimes what we manifest is beyond our imagination, right? So that's the beauty of the law of detachment. When you detach from the manifestation, you give the universe the opportunity to give you bigger than what you could ever imagine, right? And you'll realize that, oh my God, I put a candle on this apartment and I just got offered a penthouse. So I just got offered a house. I put a candle on this job and I actually got offered a higher position in that career than this little job I put the candle on, right? That's the beauty of the law of detachment. When you are attached to that thing that you want to manifest, sometimes spirit is like, I got something bigger for you than that. You got to let that go. I see what you in the realm of. Let that go and stop trying to hold on to that, because I got something bigger than what you could imagine, So the law of detachment sometimes can allow you to attract even bigger than what you want to manifest in the first place.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome, Sister Queen. That was a really good question. Much love, girl. Okay, and next up, come on, Jay. Okay, it's your time. It's your time. Hey.
Hey, Queen. Hey, everybody. Okay, so my question is, I saw on another platform, a young lady was speaking about, let's say if you have like a baby or a younger child who can't, speak for themselves, and they have like an absent parent who's not in their life, would you be able to like petition that other parent's ancestors on behalf of that child? Is that something that you could do?
Absolutely, you can. So you can, let me be clear about this. When it comes to conjuring, when it comes to communicating, when it comes to petitioning, right? And for those of you who don't know or aren't familiar with the language, oh, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Much love, much love. Thank you. And I receive that abundantly. I appreciate that love. When it comes to petitioning, right? For those of you who aren't familiar with the language, to petition essentially means to ask, right? Or to request. And sometimes petitioning is not only centered in like asking them to do something for you. You can petition ancestors to do something for somebody else, right? You can ask or request them to do something for somebody else. Sometimes petitioning is also just simply telling them something, right? So think about petitioning as like writing a petition literally to like a government official or something like that. That's what petitioning is. When you are doing ancestor work, right, you can communicate with not only your ancestors, but the ancestors of other people. You are more than capable of doing that, right? So that's what conjurers do. That's what mediums do, right? When it comes to the difference between a medium and a conjurer, they have a lot in common. A medium is a person who can communicate between physical and spirit realm, right? They are in the middle, the medium, right? They communicate between physical and spiritual. The conjurer can be a medium, but the conjurer is the person who calls spirit in. A good conjurer can call in specific spirits or specific ancestors, right? So a conjure person will be able to say, hey, I'm not blood related to this person. We may not share ancestors, or they may not even know who their ancestors are, but I'm going to conjure their ancestors and bring them forward. So what you are asking would require some conjure work to call those ancestors forward. And you can do that in a multitude of ways, right? What I will share publicly, one of the ways is to simply put out offerings for them and welcome them to the table, right? Welcome them to the space. And let me be clear when I say this. You're not welcoming them unless you want to. You're not welcoming them to your personal ancestor altar. That's not what you're doing. You can set up a sacred space where you do your conjure work, right? Most conjurers have a sacred space in their home that's separate from their own personal spiritual space where they conjure and call in other people's ancestors and spirits, right? So you can put out offerings there. Those offerings can look like water, some fresh fruit. It can look like maybe some smoke, right? Some tobacco smoke or some incense is good, right? I would do some frankincense and myrrh, keeping it simple. You know, you can put that out, but you want to have, of course, a good white candle. You want to have something to represent each element. Spend a moment, make sure that you welcome in your ancestors. You want to make sure that you have something for protection on you. Okay, some smoke quartz to be good. You want to also make sure that you welcome in your ancestors and your spirit guides to protect you and to be a medium between you and the spirits that you welcome, right? Your protective force, and make sure that you're, of course, dressed in all white, your protective cloth. Call and welcome them in. You're not petitioning immediately, right? You're calling them in, you're welcoming them in. You may want to have a tool like a pendulum there that will be able to guide you and tell you when they have come. Make sure that you have something for some sound, some vibration. You can ring a bell, you can have a tambourine, you can have a drum, anything for vibration. You can welcome them in with the sound of the bell. You can welcome them in with the tambourine, but you welcome the ancestors in once you know through the pendulum, because you're going to ask the pendulum if they are present. Once you know through the pendulum that they are present, then you can start asking questions, right? And start potentially petitioning them. It'll also be good if you can have the person that you're working for, right? That you're welcoming them in for with you. That would be great, right? Because that's also a good way to help them connect with that energy, right? And see, because it's much easier for the ancestors to communicate through them more than anything, because they are their bloodline, they are their connection, right? So it would be easy for them to connect to, and I know this is a child, a baby, you know, but it'll be easy for them to connect to, especially a baby, especially a child, especially if the baby is young. As we know, children are much more closer to spirit realm than we are as adults, right? So again, it'll be easier for them to connect with them, but they don't have to be there. Again, you'll know that they're present through your pendulum work, and then you can start communicating with them, asking them yes or no's, or if you do tarot, you can ask them to communicate with through the tarot. You can also do what's called scribing, and you can write and see what comes up through the writing, or just use your gift of mediumship, your gift to be able to communicate and talk. And you'll know through claircognizance, maybe clairvoyance, which is your claircognizance is your divine knowing, your clairvoyance is what you see, your clairaudience is what you hear, or your clairsentience is what you feel. So you'll know what they're communicating and what they're telling you through what they feel. But you have the ability to do that conjure work for them and for anybody that you want to. But I will tell you, when it comes to doing conjure work, I told you how to welcome them in. You got to know how to close that portal too, okay? And you got to know how to get them to go when you want them to go. So know how to close that portal, right? And closing that portal looks like letting them know that the session is closed, the portal is closed. You thank them, you give gratitude, right? You will take your offerings outside of the home. You will pour your water out outside. You will release your food outside. You can blow the candle out. You could keep the candle if you want to, but blow the candle out. Anything else you have, you want to make sure that you dispose of it, right? Which you really shouldn't have anything that needs to be disposed of except for the ashes, and those ashes also can be released outside. But again, you want to make sure you put the offerings outside, and then after, you want to make sure you cleanse your home, right? So open up your windows, make sure you use your bay leaf or your sage or whatever you use to cleanse your home. After you do that, you need to cleanse yourself. So you want to make sure that you take you a spiritual shower, you cleanse yourself, you dress in your whites, little casserilla or activated charcoal or some ash, and make sure that you protect that crown and that third eye, and then you're good to go. Okay.
Thank you, Queen.
Ashe, much love, much love. That was a really good question. Next up, we have Fire. Hey, Fire. Fire, I don't see you. Hey. I see you. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. What's your question?
So my question is, in a few days, I'll be 30. I'm turning 30. And so I just wondered if you had any advice like for this new chapter, or any like rituals or anything that I could do just welcome in this new chapter.
I sure do. Okay, now this is, you know I love a good birthday. Birthdays are, for me, a spiritual new year, a personal new year. That's how I like to identify it. Now, multiple things can be done on a birthday. Number one, you can honor it the same way you would honor any. Okay, hold on one second, Fire. I'm gonna have to mute you because I'm getting like feedback. But I'll unmute you after I finish. But with the birthday, again, you could do anything that you would do for your normal New Year ritual, a normal New Year celebration. Of course, cleansing the home, setting the home, all of that stuff, right? Normal New Year stuff. But for your personal self, number one, I would heavily, heavily advise that you, before the day of your birthday, you do a release ceremony. Especially 30 is a big year, right? This is a new decade, okay? So do a release ceremony. What you want to do is you want to write a list of all of the lessons you have learned from your 20s, right? All of the lessons you've learned from your 20s, and you want to put that in a gratitude jar. You could also release the lessons. You can write them on small pieces of paper, or even small bay leaves. Each lesson that you've learned from your 20s, you can gather them up with some other offerings, like some fruits, some flowers, and release them to the water, right? What we release to the water manifests, and it flows abundantly, right? So that's the beauty about releasing your lessons to the water with gratitude. Or again, you could just put it in a gratitude jar if you want to. So one, write your lessons. Two, do a release ceremony. After you write your lessons and you give gratitude for all you learned, write down what you don't want to take with you into this new decade, right? And what that looks like will be different for everybody. But what do you not want to take with you into this new year of life? You want to do a burning release ceremony of that. And these two things can be done at the same time at the water. You can do your burning release ceremony at the water, and then do your gratitude for all of your lessons and what you want to continue to manifest in your new year at the water as well. Now, after you do your gratitude and your burning release ceremony, the next thing you want to do is set your intentions for your new year. Now, for me, how I like to set my intentions is based on the energy of the year. I'm into numerology, right? Y'all know one of my favorite paths of understanding is supreme mathematics. And if y'all don't know what that is, go watch that 5%ers video that I shared yesterday. But you are moving into a year of 30, right? So the year of 3, that'll be a 3 plus 0 is 3. The 3 is divine overstanding, right? That is the 3. Now, you could build on that depending on what your birthday is and all of that stuff to understand where that understanding will come from and how that understanding will elevate you. But you could potentially create an intention that is centered around elevating in your overstanding and elevating in your overstanding through mastery of self, right? That's what I would do for my year of 30. Elevating in my overstanding through mastery of self, right? Mastery of wisdom, mastery of my lessons, So that's a good intention. But again, you want to manifest an intention. Set your intention for this new year of your life, right? Now, once you set your intention for this new year of life, put a candle on it. Put a candle on it, put a candle on it, put a candle on it. I'm very big about doing workings for myself, right? Y'all know I'm not big on like working other people. I love working myself, growing myself, elevating myself. Set that intention for yourself and put a candle on it. Turn it into a vision board, right? I'm big on doing a vision board for every year of my life. What do you want this year of 30 or even this decade of 30 to look like for you? And on that vision board, you could put places you want to go on vacation. You could put things like careers or things that you want to do to grow yourself, right? I know I have one vision board where I put that I want to be a doula. I wanted to travel to these different countries. I wanted to become a Reiki master, right? All of those things I've done. Right? But I put them on a vision board first. Before I did them, I visioned it, right? So create a vision board. So you do your gratitude, you do your release, you set your intentions, you put your candle on it, and then you vision it. You create the vision board. And throughout the years, right, you will see yourself moving in alignment with your intentions. I'm telling you, you'll turn back and look at that vision board and you'll realize that you've checked off everything on that vision board. But this is the work that you want to do, and you don't have to feel rushed to do it, right? Because what I'm saying may sound like a lot, but just keep it in mind as you honor your birthday, And on your birthday specifically, I know something that's important to me on my birthday is I appreciate the birthday love and the happy birthdays and stuff like that. Text it to me. I don't want to talk to too many people. I ain't trying to be exchanging energy with too many people. I like to be I'm in straight meditation on my birthday, right? I'm in straight spiritual elevation. I like to go to another realm, another dimension on my birthday, right? So all of my energy is focused on visioning and manifesting. So that's what I would heavily advise as well, right? Like make sure that you are intentional about elevating your dimension on your day and doing the work that it takes to really manifest that vision for yourself. Okay?
Okay. Appreciate it. I'm glad this is recording so I can definitely
Be
go
able to
back.
get all of that.
But I
Much
appreciate
love, much love. That was a really good question. And happy birthday. Okay. Much peace. And next up, y'all, we have Jay. Hey, Jay. Question. Jay, your camera, your mic.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
I love them locks. Come on, locks.
Thank you. Okay, so I had one question, but I'm gonna rephrase it. So I had an experience recently where I was give me one second. I was dating somebody and they accused me of doing work on them spiritually. Is this a part of the path? Is this common?
Yes, yes. It's very common. Everybody thinks they're that important that you want to do some type of work on them. Yeah, it's very common.
Let me tell you, this right here, I didn't know I signed up for this. This is some foolishness.
The beautiful thing is, I like to say, it's a reminder of people's perception of your power, right? because that's what they're telling you. They're telling you that they think and they perceive you to be so powerful that your working is able to impact their life at that level. And guess what? That is the root. The root is their own perception of you, right? And that's what I like to remind them. I just want to let you know that you're not that important for me. But I like the fact that I'm that important for you, that you are allowing me to root you through your own perception of your importance in my life. That's it. That's the root, right? The root is their own perception, and I always advise them, you should take back your power. You're giving me too much of your power and I don't want it. I'm not doing nothing with it. You should take it back, okay? For your own wellness. But it's common. It's common. You got to get used to it. Okay.
So I'm having a hard time not taking it personal though. And I know that's against the four agreements, but I'm having a really hard time not taking it personal. I feel like my integrity was questioned.
I mean, I definitely understand that. I love that you acknowledge that, that's a part of the four agreements is to not take anything personal, right? And that can be difficult sometimes. People like to bring up the four agreements like it's the easiest thing in the world. It's the reason why Don B. Gabriel only put four, and he put the four most powerful, right? Like to be impeccable with your word is hard for a lot of people. The don't take anything personal is hard for a lot of people, but especially in a situation like this where that what they're really doing is judging your intentions.
Right.
They're judging you as a person, and again, they're judging their own importance in your life. Like they really think that they are that important to you that you would want to put forth that type of spiritual effort for or against them, right? So it's really coming from an egoic space, and that's why we don't take anything personal, especially in that type of situation, because that's really them feeding their own ego, their own grandiosity, that they think they are so high value and important to you that you would want to go out of your way to do a working on them, right? So that's why we give it no energy, because we're not going to feed that ego any more than they are already feeding it themselves, And again, just reminding them that they are not that important. But I understand, because it does feel like an attack on character sometimes, but it's really not an attack on your character. It's them feeding the ego of their own importance, and it's not that important. It's more about them than you.
I got you. Okay. Thank you.
Much love. I'm glad you brought that up. That was really good. We appreciate you, Jay.
Thank you. Bye.
Much love. That was really good, because that's common. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all have experienced that, where somebody accuse you of doing something on them and you ain't even think about them, which is crazy. China.
Hey.
you was in there. You in there working.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My birthday too.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you.
You ain't gonna just slide that in, okay? Much peace and prosperity on your new year. May it be abundant, full of wellness, divine light, guidance, and clarity. Much peace and happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Okay, question. So I'm trying to figure out how to word it. For someone who wants to work with their ancestors, right? For somebody who want to work with their ancestors, when would they be able to start, and then how would you suggest that they go about it?
That's a good question. You can start anytime you are ready, right? Like your ancestors are yours. They belong to you. They are divinely aligned with you, right? So anybody can start working with their ancestors whenever they feel ready. And I want to be clear that when it comes to like working with your ancestors, what the work looks like is different for different people. Everybody is not ready to have an ancestor altar, and that is okay, right? Everybody's not ready for that, right? But what are you ready for? And that's what I urge everybody to ask themselves. When it comes to working with your ancestors, what are you ready for? What does the work look like for you in this moment, right? And the reason I say everybody's not ready for an ancestor altar, because an ancestor altar requires some discipline. It requires some responsibility, because you got to be willing to upkeep that and to clean it off and to keep the offerings fresh and things like that. But what are you ready for, right? Working with your ancestors could look like venerating them by going to the water and giving some offerings, by leaving some offerings at a tree for them. It could look like going to visit them wherever they're resting, right? The cemetery, the grave, the mausoleum, and putting some offerings there, right? So start with venerating your ancestors. Start with honoring them. Honoring them could also look like doing things that they love to do. You know, so if you know one of your ancestors loved creating, loved painting, loved drawing, loved sewing, loved cooking, do things that they enjoyed doing and make sure that you speak their name or speak their energy. You know, I'm cooking these greens in honor of my great grandmother such and such, or I'm you know, wearing this outfit, right? Because sometimes, you know, you may have had a grandfather who loved to wear hats or loved to wear a certain thing. I'm wearing this hat in honor of my granddaddy such and such, right? So you do things in honor of them. That's one way to venerate, you know. So and that's one way to work with them, one way to welcome their energy. And then when you're ready, you can have an ancestor altar and venerate them at the altar. But the key with the veneration is honoring them and welcoming them into your life and welcoming them to guide you, right? And to protect you and to, you know, help you with some clarity and things like that, right? So honor them, venerate them first, and then welcome them into your life to be somewhat of a guide and protective force, which they already are. But when you honor them, you open yourself up to that communication. I don't know if you made it to, and I'm working on it, y'all. Don't tussle with me. I was doing some work on it today with some graphics and stuff, but I don't know if you made it to our watch party that we did for Lemonade Film, where we broke down Lemonade Film.
I was there.
You was in there.
I was
So
in there.
you remember how they in the film they welcomed the ancestors with the she had the table and they had the tambourine and they welcomed the ancestors in, and then they dined at the table, and then the next scene was the spiritual communication where she talked about, you know, the dreaming of the babies and birthing the baby and then birthing her inner child. All of that's literally how it works, which is one of the reasons why that film is so brilliant. You welcome your ancestors in, you venerate them, you honor them, and then they will start to communicate with you through your spiritual gifts, and the work continues from there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because grandma's birthday coming up, and I'm trying to find this cheesecake recipe, ma'am. I'm like, Mom. She's like, I don't know. But her birthday the 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So
it'll divinely come to you. Was it a specific type of cheesecake, or was it like?
it was like the oh my God, and it was so good. Jesus, we ate all the cheesecake and only left her one slice, and she cussed out everybody in the house. But it was like the New York cheesecake with the cherries and stuff or strawberries on top. And I can't find it, but I do know. I don't know if you remember, they had the little white domino cookbook, and it had like the little spirals on it, and you just flip through it, and it had like the little pictures. I don't know if she got it out of there, but she used to bake stuff on her own. So it's like I don't know if it was her own little shedig or if she got it out of there. So I'm trying. I found her dress, and I just ain't found this cheesecake yet, and I want to put a slice on the altar for her birthday.
Ashe. So you gonna get the cheesecake. You gonna
I
get the
need the
cheesecake
cheesecake.
recipe. It's gonna happen for you. Divine alignment. Divine
All
alignment.
right. All right.
Ashe. Much
Ashe.
love. Much love.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all. And next up we have Devin. Now, Devin, the YouTube family know you, Devin. Okay.
Hey, look, I'm over here typing on the chat. I didn't know I was gonna be next. Look, I was eating chips and everything. No, I didn't really have a question. I just wanted to say I love you, and I love the community, and I love these lives. I love everything, and I'm so happy to what's it called, to be a part. I'm actually visiting my friend who passed away's mother right now. And she was watching YouTube. I said, I gotta get on Queen Post Live. Give me a second. I said, I'll be downstairs. I said, but when it's over, I'll come back up. So I just wanted to share that for everybody watching. This is transformative to my life, and I love it. I love it.
I love you, Devin. I love you, and I thank you, and I appreciate your love abundantly. And thank you for your good energy and all your good laughs. You are always a beautiful contribution to the tribe and a beautiful manifestation of divine light and energy. And we appreciate you too, Devin. I thank you. And tell your friend Mama I said hey, okay?
Look, I will. Bye.
Much peace, Devin. Okay, y'all. Next up, we love that. For those of you who don't remember, Devin was the one who suggested the Duke's Mayo. Remember that? That was many moons ago we did that live. Remember Devin brought up that Duke's? That's Devin. But Devin is always in the chat making us laugh and just being a good piece and ball of energy, manifestation of good energy. And we love him dearly. And always in the wellness community when we go live and we have our family meetings and stuff, he's always contributing a good word. Okay, so that's Devin. Okay, next up we have Ella. Hey, Ella. Question?
Hi. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can
So
you
in
hear me?
between, I just want to
Okay.
I want to say this for everybody. So in between, y'all know how I do when we do our family meetings. I like to mute my mic while y'all talk, but specifically on here, I have to mute my mic so there's no feedback. Okay, so I can hear you, but my mic will be muted, so you won't be able to hear me until after. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much for having this tonight and everything you do. I love it. And I always learn from everyone. And you're such a blessing to all of us. I just want to tell you how much I love you. I really do. And I appreciate you so much. Now, my question is for some reason, my skin just hasn't been clearing up properly like it should. And I know you showed us your remedy with the turmeric that you do for your face wash. I wanted to know if that can be done for the whole body or what other suggestions you have because my skin isn't clearing up in summertime coming up. I want to be able to get out there. You know what I'm saying? So any suggestions, please?
Of course, of course. I know you want to be summertime fine, okay? Summertime fine with the glowing skin. So a couple of things. Now, for those of you who don't know what Miss Ella is referring to, I put up a video many moons ago talking about my natural skincare remedy. And what I do is I mix baking soda and turmeric. Y'all know I recycle, so I use like a Talenti's ice cream jar, and I fill that up with baking soda and put just a sprinkle of turmeric in there and shake it up. So what that does is and you can research all of the health benefits for baking soda and turmeric, but it's an anti-inflammatory. It also decreases hyperpigmentation. So if you struggle with dark spots or anything like that, the baking soda and turmeric together is a great combination. And also you don't need nothing fancy. Of course, you want to get some natural raw turmeric powder, but the baking soda, honey, I use little 49-cent box of Arm & Hammer baking soda. Okay. So it's a very inexpensive routine and it lasts a long time. And to tone my skin, I use fresh aloe vera, right? So that's how I tone my skin. And what I started doing, and I've been doing it for a couple years now, a few years now, is vitamin E oil, right? So I used to use coconut oil, but now I use pure vitamin E oil because that also evens out the skin tone. It adds to that glow, right? Something else that's good is a rose water mist, right? So throughout the day, especially during the summertime, if you get dewy, you want to do a rose water mist. But here's the thing, y'all. I know a lot of the over-the-counter rose water mists are popular. Those often have fragrances in it, and that's why they have that strong scent, okay? If you want a rose water mist for yourself, you get some purified water, some distilled water, you put some fresh rose petals in it, along with some fresh calendula petals, right? And you can add a couple of drops of vitamin E oil, shake that up, let it sit overnight, and that's your rose water. That will last you a long time. All natural. You spray that throughout the day to freshen yourself up and add to that glow. Okay, so that's what you do throughout the day. Now, something else that's good if you've been noticing that your skin is really changing and the baking soda and turmeric is not necessarily doing it for you, take a break from the baking soda and turmeric for a while. I've had to do this in the past where, naturally our skin becomes immune to certain things, right? So we have to keep in mind that your skin is the largest organ on your body, right? And just like certain medications will stop working after a while, just like your skin will grow immune to certain things, right? So take a break from your original routine and replace that baking soda and that turmeric with some Castile soap. I love me a good Dr. Bronner's. I use the peppermint or the citrus or sometimes the baby one, right? The light blue bottle, the baby one. And I will put some Castile soap on a washcloth and I will like gently scrub my face with that. Because the key to healthy skin, clear skin, is you have to exfoliate daily. I don't know who needs to hear this, but exfoliate that skin daily. If you're just using the regular soap, put that soap on a rag and you need to exfoliate that skin with that rag. That's going to be important. Also, another recommendation is a coffee scrub. You can do coffee and a little bit of honey, okay? If you want to, you can make a jar of this, but coffee and a little raw honey in the palm of your hand, because the coffee scrub for me is not something I do like daily. I do it like once a week, sometimes twice a week. A little raw honey, coffee. After I wash my face, like with some soap, no rag, just some soap, I use the coffee grounds to exfoliate, right? And that coffee really helps to clear out your pores and remove blackheads or anything like that. So the coffee scrub is going to be good. And after you do any of this, you want to do that aloe vera. One thing about it is I stick to my aloe vera. Aloe vera is very healing. It's also, when you get the gel fresh out the leaf, it's cold, so it closes up them pores. So you're locking that healing gel into your pores. This is how you prevent from getting any blackheads, any pus bumps. Pus bumps are infections coming up, right? Those are white cells that's coming up trying to fight infection, right? So that's what you want to make sure that you are closing in, locking in that healing aloe vera into your pores so you could prevent any pus bumps, any blackheads, or anything like that, okay? So that's what's going to really help with that. The aloe vera has to be done after every single face wash. There is no face wash that is not followed by the aloe vera. That is the thing that you want to be consistent with no matter what. Now, for me, before I go to bed, I do the aloe vera and the aloe vera only. If I feel like my skin is a little tighter than normal, I may do just a little bit of vitamin E oil. But I don't usually do too much vitamin E oil at night because I produce a lot of oil at night, right? So sometimes if I do the vitamin E oil, and put with the oil that I naturally produce at night, I'll wake up in the morning with like a little oil bump or two. I don't like that. So I do the aloe vera, no vitamin E at night, but when I wash my face in the morning, I do my aloe vera and my vitamin E to carry me through the day. Okay, so those are just a few recommendations for you.
Thank you, thank you. When you said you do the aloe vera at night, are you putting it on and sleeping with it, or are you rinsing it off? And then you mentioned, I'm sorry, then you mentioned the soap. I think you said Bronner's Brothers soap. Is that what you said?
It's Dr. Bronner's soap, and the aloe vera is not getting rinsed off. The aloe vera will dry on your skin, okay? And it'll dry clear, okay? So you just do you literally cut the leaf open. If it depends on the consistency, honestly, of the gel in the leaf. Sometimes the gel can be a little like sticky, like a little gooey. You'll know when you open it up because it'll be like gel stuck together. When it looks like that, I'll rub it in my hand and then make like a foam out of it, because with the aloe vera gel, the longer you rub it between your palms and you add that heat and friction to it, it's going to turn into a foam. That's what you want. You want that foam, and you're going to rub that over your face and then let it dry. It's going to dry clear, and it's also going to dry clear and have a nice shine to it. The aloe vera naturally has a shine when it dries, right? But it's going to feel a little tight. That's when you add the vitamin E. I don't add the vitamin E until after the aloe dries. Once my aloe dries down, then I add the vitamin E and I smooth it all out. Okay, and the soap is Dr. Bronner's, Bronners.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Much love, Ella. Okay, y'all, and next up we have Khadijah. Hey, Khadijah. How you doing, girl?
Hey. Thanks for having me. My question is, so I'm, deep in my spiritual walk, things. But I have been noticing, even from the time I've started, birds. I'm getting what type of bird it is. Birds either come to me, they follow me, or they leave me offerings. Like not long ago, I moved into a condo, and I'm on the top level, and I'm in an older building. I like older buildings because I like the architecture and the framing of how they built them and things like that, like the arches and stuff. Like I have grand arches in my apartment, so I like that. But so since I'm in an older building, I have air conditioning units in my windows. So the one in my living room, Morning Dove landed on it, and that bird literally tapped the window. I was sitting at my table doing my work and what I do, and I looked over and it looked at me, and I'm like, "You want to talk?" What's that? Because I've talked to them, like I'm talking to you guys or you. And it looked and then it turned away and then it looked down like it was trying to figure out a way to get in. So I said, well, you can't come in, but we could talk. So it sat there and it tapped the window again and it sat there for a long time. And then it flew away. The very next day, in my bathroom, there's a tree, a big, huge cherry tree right outside my window. The very next day, uh, um, not a sparrow, it's another small bird. It's not as small as not as small as a sparrow, just a little bit bigger, and has a longer tail. I cannot think of the name of it, but it built a nest right at my bathroom window. And when it built the nest, it caused that tree branch to, if I was to open my window, it would be in my bathroom. So my thing is like, I know these are I know these are like signs or things like that, but is this like spirit's way of showing me that like my paths are open? You get what I'm saying? Like my gifts and my things are like I'm in connection. You know what I'm saying? Because the natural things of the earth are literally responding to me, are communicating with me, not just randomly. Because I know sometimes when people pass, you might have someone say, oh, a butterfly flew by. And I know that's my grandmother because she liked butterflies, or I seen this bird. But it's a constant for me, like literally every day. I have birds like when I walk down the street, they like walking with me, like they're hopping, walking, like, yeah.
So I'm glad that you are receiving it as a good omen, right, and a good sign,
Mm-hmm,
because it
mm-hmm,
is a good omen. It's a
mm-hmm.
beautiful sign. Different birds have different meanings, right, and communicate different things. But birds overall are seen as spiritual messengers, and it's important for everybody to understand that. And different birds carry different messages. Now, white birds are associated with the ancestors. Usually, when you see a white bird present, a white bird come around, it's a sign that one of your ancestors are watching you. But also, white birds are associated with the elder mothers, right? Also known as the elders of the night or the mothers of the night, right? The ones who watch over and protect, right? So connected to that divine feminine mothering energy, right? That's the white birds. Now, you also, as most people know, crows, right? Crows are known as divine messages, and they're warning you of something to come. A lot of people think that crows are associated with death, right? But it's the buzzards. The buzzards are also often associated with the transition of life, right? We know buzzards feed on dead things, right? The crows are messengers of something to come. The buzzards are a message of a transition of life. But a lot of people don't realize that the buzzards are a transition of birth or death, right? So the transition of life on either direction coming. So just be aware of that. When you see red cardinals are usually a good sign that something, a manifestation is coming, right? So when you see a red bird, it's a sign that something that you want, something that you are trying to manifest is coming, or somebody is coming, right? You can expect a visitor, somebody is coming to your house and things like that. When you see a blue bird, like a blue jay or something like that, right? Bluebirds are usually a sign of something, some type of news that you are about to be told, something that's going to surprise you, not in a good way or a bad way, right? It's neither or. It could be any type of news is going to be told to you that is going to surprise you, right? So just be on the lookout for any news or any messages that's going to come to somebody else. Usually when you see a bluebird, you probably going to get a phone call from somebody you haven't heard from in a long time, right? Somebody you've been thinking about, that you've been wanting to communicate with. Sometimes a bluebird may be telling you that you need to pay attention to the news or watch the news because there's something on the news that you need to be aware of, that you need to connect with, right? So those are just some of the meanings of some of the birds, but the birds as a whole carry messages, right? So always pay attention to when you see the birds. And I will say this, because I don't want people to overanalyze it, right? Some folks, they be on a spiritual journey and they're gonna hear this message. I'm not talking about you, Khadijah, but some people will hear this message and now they're gonna be hyper fixated on birds. It's not you looking for the birds, it's the birds looking for you. Right? Notice what Khadijah said. Everywhere she goes, they come to her. They come to her windows. They come to her house. They come to her door. I know for me, anytime I would get divination, any Shay tradition, the elder mothers would always come up in my divination, that they were pleased with me and they were protecting me, and they would always come up. One thing I noticed is that every springtime birds would build nests no matter where I live at, even where I live at now. And I'm on a 20 something floor of my building. Everywhere I go, when I was on the third floor of my building in Brooklyn, okay, everywhere I go, a bird would build a nest on my balcony, by my window, or something. No matter how high I was, the birds are going to find me and nest. That's a sign from the elder mothers that they are pleased with you, right? And that was confirmed for me through divination, So I wasn't looking for them, they were looking for me, right? So another example of this is you are driving in a car and you're sitting at a light, and a white bird lands on top of your car, right? Or flies directly in front of your windshield. And it doesn't just happen one time, it happens a few times. You're walking down the street and a white bird is just following you on your path. It doesn't just happen one time, it happens a few times. So don't be hyper fixated and looking for the birds. You'll know when they come to you. That's how you'll know that they have a message for you. And again, like with the buzzards and the crows, right? This was depicted in the film Sinners, where they were sitting over the house, they were hovering over the house, right? That was a sign, excuse me, that a transition was coming, that something was about to happen. It was a message, right? So they should have been paying attention, okay? So that's how you'll know when they're over your home, or they're following over your car, or following over you while you walk, and it happens more than one time. That's when you really need to pay attention to the messages from the birds, okay?
That is so true. When you said that you're up high, I'm at the top. I'm in the top condo too, at the top of my building, and it's different birds. Like on the left side of my building, it's the bird's nest, the doves, but on the front there's a different tree there. And that's where the crows and the ravens be. And this one particular this bird in the morning. And it's just something like yesterday, I took my dog out for a walk, and it literally came down and landed on the mailbox thing in the front of my building and sat there. And I'm like, I know this bird know if I open this door, my dog gonna try to jump at it or try to catch it because it's a dog. So I kindly opened the door. I said, "Can you please fly back over to the tree? Now you know you ain't about to antagonize my baby." And it flew right on over to the tree, the other tree right there. It went on. It's just like they just follow me. Just yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's a sign that you are in good relationship with the elder mothers, and they're watching you and they're protecting you, right? But like I said, pay attention to what type of bird, especially like the specific color of the bird, and that's how you'll get a deeper understanding of the different messages that they may be delivering to you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Much love, Khadijah. That was a really, really good question. Excellent question. Now, family, we have cleared out the backstage. Okay, that's all for our questions backstage. We already are at a little over an hour, so I'll take a couple of questions from the chat. So if you have any questions about spirituality or holistic wellness, you can put them in the chat now, and I will answer. I saw that earlier when we were talking about skin, I believe it was Kai who had mentioned to mind your diet as well, and that's super important, Ella. So I hope that you saw that in the chat where she said to mind your diet, because that's super important when it comes to understanding your skin. You know, I'm very big on detoxing. A good detox will take you a long way when it comes to the wellness of your skin. Okay. So Four Seasons Apothecary said, why do some people experience weight loss, appetite, and body changes during an awakening with no confirmed medical issues? And are there any books that talk about these types of things? Now, one of the reasons why you may experience weight loss, appetite changes, and body changes as a whole during an awakening is your body is moving in alignment with your elevation, right? So sometimes the things that you used to crave and the things that you used to enjoy, you will no longer crave and enjoy, right? Because your body is moving in alignment with your awakening. So always remember that, right? As you elevate your mental, your physical will follow. As you elevate your spiritual, your mental will follow. The spirit leads the mind leads the body. Our emotions are a guide, right? So understand that when you elevate your spiritual, you elevate your mental. When you elevate your mental, you elevate your physical. So you won't crave what you used to crave. You won't be attracted to what you used to be attracted to. So that's one of the reasons why you may experience weight loss, appetite changes, body changes, etc. Right? Now, once again, I do recommend the African Holistic Health book by Dr. Layla Africa, because this is a book where he's going to talk about different vitamins and minerals and different herbs that you can take for different things that's going on within the body, right? So if you're noticing other signs and symptoms of something else going on and you are concerned about them and you want to do things that are centered in holistic wellness and healing, that book is a good book and a good guide to help you be able to do that, right? And again, it's about vitamins, minerals, and herbs, as well as different foods and liquids that you can eat and drink that can help heal whatever else may be going on if you're concerned that something else is happening. Okay. Next question. You said, Lady Gross said, what you think about Reside coffee? I don't even know what that is. Razy coffee? I have no idea what that is. I don't know. So I don't think about it. Much love to them. Is it black owned? Or is that a mushroom coffee? I've had mushroom coffee. If that's a mushroom coffee, I've had that before. That was good. Okay. If it's a mushroom coffee. I have a question here I had skipped over. Sorry. Zan said, the man I care for is dying. How do I prepare myself and him and our home for his transition? That's a good question, right? So number one, I would highly recommend that you start to prepare yourself for his transition by simply accepting and bringing yourself to awareness of the impact of his physical presence, right? So enjoy the physical presence, be in full awareness of his physical presence. This is when you really want to practice your mindfulness. Enjoy his physical presence as much. And then the next thing I would recommend is that you build deep connection with his spirit while it is still in his vessel, right? So speak to his spirit beyond the vessel, right? Beyond his words. So this is when you may want to communicate with him spiritually while he is sleeping, while he is resting, right? So build a close relationship with his spirit beyond his vessel, even while his vessel is still present. And what this does is it kind of helps ease the grief process a little bit. You will still grieve, right? Because you're going to miss his physical presence, but you've already done the work to connect with his spirit beyond the vessel. So the ancestor veneration and the welcoming his spirit back into the home is going to be easier for you than most people who haven't done that work to build a connection. And to prepare him for his transition, advise him and help him connect with his spirit beyond the vessel, right? Help him go beyond the body and beyond the mind, right? And this can be done through meditation with both of y'all. This is how y'all can both spiritually connect to your own individual spirits, but also he can connect to his spirit, right? So y'all can connect spirit to spirit, but also connecting to thyself. So practice some meditation with him, right? If possible, to help him to connect with his spirit, right? And then also another important thing to do is remind him of how important his physical presence has been and how his physical presence is a blessing and how he's done his job, right? Let him know that you're grateful and that it's a job well done. And it's not that you don't want him to feel like he's missing anything, right? Or he's losing, right? Or he's doing anything bad. I'm a death doula, and I worked in hospice for a long time and helped quite a few people transition. And I will tell you, one of the biggest blessings is being able to help them realize that, number one, everybody is proud of them. Number two, I like to repeat to them certain lessons, right? And I was even a deaf doula for people that I didn't know, of course. Most people I didn't know. But I would tell them, like, something I'm learning from you is, and I'm like studying them as I'm speaking to them, like something I'm learning from you is just how to be calm and how to embrace, right? You have a lot of wisdom, right? I love your energy. Your energy is making me feel comfortable. I'm learning how to be welcoming through you, right? You are welcoming energy. And what this does does is to remind them that they have done a great job at living life. It's to remind them that they are complete. Their mission is complete, and that's a part of the transition. So pour that into him and help him realize that it's a job well done, and that you've learned a lot, you've taught a lot of lessons, and you've done an excellent job, and your physical is appreciated, and we are grateful for your physical presence, and we will remember you beyond just this physical. So those are just a couple of things that can be done to prepare you and him for the transition. And then to prepare the home, I would just simply light a white candle. And something that we often do is to light a light candle to, number one, welcome them spiritually into the home. Make sure that they are spiritually set in the home to protect yourself, them, and the home, but also to light their path and make their transition easy, right? So light a white candle in the home to prepare the home, you and him as well, okay? And much peace and wellness as you go through this journey of understanding, of spiritual elevation for him, and of grief and healing for yourself, okay? Much peace, Sam. Okay, and next up, we have Sweet Sadiddy. Sweet Sadiddy said, hey, Queen, what's a good book or way to interpret dreams? I don't have a good dream book. Maybe some people can recommend some in the chat. I'm not a dream book person. I believe that everybody's signs and symbol and spiritual language is different for everybody. Okay, so what certain things may mean for me may not necessarily be what they mean for you. So I believe in creating your own dream book, interpreting your own dreams, right? People can give you an idea of what your dreams may be. Google can do that. ChatGPT can do that, right? You can ask ChatGPT, what does this dream mean? And they will give you an interpretation of a dream, but that's based on like the public overall signs and symbols. But your spiritual language is different than anybody else's spiritual language. So study thyself. Start writing your dreams down when you wake up, and then pay attention to how those signs and symbols show up and manifest in your life, and that's how you'll be able to start to interpret your dreams for yourself. But I don't have specifically a dream book that I would recommend. I will say though, Gogo Deneo Nzlanzi, she is a Gobela in Umbungoma tradition out of South Africa, and the spiritual gift of dreaming is very, very heavy and very strong in Umbungoma tradition, right? So you may want to follow Gogo Deneo Nzlanzi. I've done a live with her on my YouTube many moons ago. You can type the Queen Po Sangoma or the Queen Po Umbungoma, which is Ubungoma, Umbungoma. You can type again the Queen Po Sangoma or the Queen Po Umbungoma into YouTube, and that video will pop up. But her name is Gogo Deneo Nzlanzi. Somebody in the wellness community, if you can, put her information in the chat. She does dream interpretations live on social media all the time, right? Specifically on TikTok. So you can follow her over there and wait for her to go live. And she often she sits there and will interpret people's dreams. So she's a good resource for that. And then she also offers dream interpretation consultations. So she's a good resource for that as well. Okay. Oh Lord, I done went down. Okay, sorry for anybody. I skipped the thing. I accidentally hit the button and it went way far down. Okay, so I don't know. I may have missed some questions. Sorry. Okay, you said this is not a question. You talking about what I was mentioning about the birds. Yikes. Where am I? Okay, I gotta scroll. I can't tell if it scrolled me up or took me down. I think it scrolled me up. No, it took me down. Okay, here we go. No, that's not where we go. Okay, let me see. I don't know where I am in the chat, y'all. This thing done flew me all the way down. Okay? I don't know where I'm at. Okay, there we go. I'm back to the question. I'm seeing question marks now. I think it has scrolled me up, and then I had to scroll back down. I'm back to seeing question marks. At first, I was just seeing a lot of responses to like things I said previously. Okay, so this is one. Toya TT said, why don't some lost spirits attach themselves to some people and not leave them? I think you mean why do? Even if when doing rituals of protection for ceremony, those spirits won't leave. what can a person do? They would need to go see somebody, right? Because it may be some type of offering or abode that needs to be made. So they would need a divination, right? So in this is the type of case where if somebody gets mounted in ceremony and the spirit is not leaving, they would likely need some type of divination and abode done. And the abode is like the offering or the prescription that is done to appease the spirit, right? And that's how something that you could do to get the spirit to leave. Okay. Let me see. I'm scrolling down. Okay, y'all, I'm lost in the chat now. I'm just scrolling all the way to the bottom to see. I'm lost now. Okay, you said here we go. You said, what do you think about mushroom coffee? I like mushroom coffee. I tried it one time at an event many moons ago and I did like it. I enjoyed it greatly. It was good. It did give me some energy, like a little pick me up, but also made me feel like a little calm. I honestly don't remember the specific brand. It was like a black owned company and I had bought some from them, but that was many moons ago. I don't even remember the brand of that. Okay. So, but I like mushroom coffee. It's something that I would recommend to people, especially if you're trying to like get off of the addiction to like regular caffeinated coffee. Okay. You said when squirrels come to almost, or what type of, let's be clear, you talking about regular mushroom coffee, right? Or you're not, I hope you ain't talking about like real, because let's be clear, regular mushroom coffee is not going to get you high. It ain't going to get you high. Okay, now, if you talking about other type of mushroom infused coffee, I ain't had that. Now I done tried shrooms, but I ain't never tried them type. Not in no coffee like that. Okay, I'm talking about regular mushroom coffee. Okay, when squirrels come to you, what? When squirrels, is this a question? When squirrels come to you almost eating out of your hand, what does that mean? That was my question. Thanks, Queen. When squirrels come to you almost eating out of your hand. So squirrels are a good spiritual omen, right? But this is the thing with squirrels. Squirrels are the seeking omen, right? The seeking sign. So it could mean that somebody is seeking you out, right? Or somebody is watching you, seeking you out, looking for you. So somebody may be following you, and not in a way of like a monitoring spirit or wanting to hurt or harm you, but literally just looking for you, seeking you out, or that you are seeking something, right? So anytime you are on a seeker's journey, you're looking for the next thing or looking for a person or looking for the next opportunity, you will often see a lot of squirrels. Squirrels are signs of the seeker. Okay, so if you've been dreaming about squirrels or you have been having a lot of squirrels be attracted to you, it is usually a sign that you are seeking something. You are on a deep journey of seeking, or somebody is seeking you. Okay, so that's what that omen usually is. Okay. You said, hey Queen, love you too, Coco Empress. Any spiritual gifts for gap tooth people? Any spiritual gifts for gap tooth people? The funny thing about this is I have an elder who has a gap tooth, and she always say, I'm speaking to you. I'm talking to you through the gap now, which is her way of saying this is spirit speaking. This is not just me talking as an elder. That's her way of saying that. Now, she taught me, I didn't hear this growing up, but something she taught me, right, is that people who have a gap speak a lot of wisdom. And that's her belief, and that's something that she taught me. So that is the spiritual gift for the gap tooth people, from what I've learned, is the wisdom comes through the gap, right? So they are more in tune with wisdom, more in tune with speaking wisdom, right? They are usually the best teachers, the best storytellers, the griots, right, of the community are our gap tooth people, our gap tooth elders, right? So that's usually what it is. You said like Joe Scott, absolutely, right? The griot, the storyteller, they use the voice as the gift, right? So you may be into that. You may be into like folk tales. You may be into telling family stories and things like that. That may be your gift. Research a griot. First off, I have to say this. People after sinners, right? I think it was Annie that they referred to as a griot. And in sinners, they mispronounced it and said griot. She's a griot. I said, and they had everybody in the world, when everybody was talking about sinners on like TikTok and stuff, they had everybody in the world saying griot. I said, Lord, how did nobody in the room catch this? How did nobody catch this? Well, it's not, it's griot, not griot, okay? But the griot is the storyteller, the keeper of wisdom in the community. You know how like, we have oral traditions. The griot is the person who keeps the oral traditions going, right? So that's the griot. That's the griot. So the gap tooth people, that may be your spiritual gift, is to be a griot. Okay. Now I'm gonna answer this last question, and then that's it. Okay, that's it. Kai said, Queen, I don't know if you want to answer this here, but what is a strong, good way to banish a spell against you or your interest? I actually did a video on that called Dispelling, right? Dispelling. And that video is centered around dispelling or removing any negative energy that may be trying to come towards you or maybe around you, right? So you can, on YouTube, you could just type the Queen Poe Dispelling, and it should be able, it should come right up. But I did a whole video about that, about how to dispel that energy and remove any negative energy, anything spoken against you. But I'm gonna tell you now, a good quick way that you can do it is burn some clove. Burning clove is a good way to stop any negative energy spoken about you or done to you or done around you, right? Clove is a quick, y'all know I call it my kitchen counter herbs. Most people have some type of clove in their house, in their kitchen cabinet, on their kitchen counter. Burn you some clove, okay? If you want to, you could do bay leaf and clove together. Bay leaf is good for dispelling, but that clove is good for stopping gossip, stopping any negative words spoken against you, stopping any hexes or any negative things that people are praying against you, trying to do against you. Burn some clove, okay? Now, I said that was the last question. I love y'all dearly, okay? Y'all see I'm sleeping. Love y'all dearly. Much peace, much wellness. Shout out to the wellness community for all of your good questions. I like this little version that we was able to do here, okay, just like this. And for those of you who are not in the wellness community, we usually do this via Zoom, where on Zoom, again, we sit together and the family can raise their hand and ask any questions that they have about spirituality and holistic wellness and all of that. But I just wanted to do one for the public and give you all an opportunity to hear the answers and see the answers, and also to ask some questions for yourself, okay? Now, wellness community, I will see y'all, what's today, Friday? I'll see y'all tomorrow for our next book club meeting, where we'll talk more about some practices and things like that from Living in Wisdom by Debbie Brown. We're reading that as a collective. And then, of course, Sunday, we'll have our Sunday film watch party. And for my YouTube family, I'm going to edit up. I'm going to edit up the Nation of Islam video. And then I'll release it to y'all so y'all can see that, right? I did a video with somebody about growing up in the Nation of Islam. So I'll edit that up and release that for y'all to see sometime soon. But I also will have a new moon in Taurus video coming next week as well, okay? Much love, much wellness, much peace. Wellness community, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody else, I'll see you soon, okay? Much love, y'all, and good night.